So it came out a few days ago that the San Francisco 49ers are allowing Deebo Samuel and his agent to seek a trade. And that's significant because we know everything that Deebo Samuel did for the 49ers. He is such a versatile player over there in San Francisco under Kyle Shanahan, and he did a lot of great things over there. But the writing was pretty much on the wall when they signed Brandon Ayuk to that long-term deal last offseason. So now Deebo is free to go, not necessarily wherever he chooses, but wherever they can facilitate a trade. But should the Baltimore Ravens be on the list of teams that should reach out to a Deebo Samuel? Could they be on the list of a team where Deebo Samuel will potentially be a good fit? We're getting ready to talk about that shortly. Before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn the notifications on so you can stay up to date with everything going down with our Baltimore Ravens. Now, the report that Deebo Samuel was allowed to seek a trade, it actually came from Adam Schefter. And Adam Schefter was on the Pat McAfee show, and he actually listed the Baltimore Ravens as a team where Deebo Samuel could potentially end up. Now, we weren't the only team that he listed. You know what? So you can hear it directly from Adam Schefter. Let's listen to what he had to say.
I think it's hard to pinpoint right now where Deebo would go. I could see him in Pittsburgh. I could see him in Baltimore. I could see him in a lot of places. Denver, like any of those AFC North teams makes sense.
So Adam Schefter, of course, listed the Baltimore Ravens as a potential team for Deebo Samuel, but he also said the Steelers too. He mentioned the Bengals. He said really the whole AFC North would be a good fit for Deebo Samuel. But specifically with our Baltimore Ravens, would he be a player that would be worth it when it came to acquiring him? When I think about the talent that Deebo Samuel possesses, when I think about how great of a fit he would be with the Baltimore Ravens, it would be amazing. It really would be. Deebo Samuel, for what the Baltimore Ravens do and how they play, in my opinion, I think Deebo Samuel would be an amazing fit for the Baltimore Ravens. I think it would be such a smooth transition. I think he'll be a factor. Boom, just like that. Because he does so many different things. Obviously, he's a wide receiver. He can make plays at wide receiver, but he's also a running back. So he can make plays there too. You could put him everywhere on the field. You can literally have him lined up anywhere because he can do everything. And he can do these things at a very, very high level. The Baltimore Ravens offense, it's already extremely diverse because you got a Derrick Henry, one of the best running backs in the league still. A lot of people going into last year thought he was going to have a down year, but he certainly didn't. He proved a lot of people, including myself, wrong all the way. And he was nothing short of amazing. And then you look at Isaiah Likely, at tight end. You look at Mark Andrews. You look at Charlie Collar. So it's like, oh my goodness, those three tight ends are amazing. Then you go to the wide receiver room and you think about Zay Flowers and just what sort of receiver that he is. Then Rashad Bateman, sort of similar to Zay Flowers, but at the same time different and a different build at wide receiver than him too. And everything that they had done last year and everything that they'll be able to do in the future. And we ain't even talk about Lamar Jackson yet. So you think about all those skill position players on offense, and it's like, ooh, hold up now. We got some guys. But then if you threw Deebo into all of that, just think about how Zay Flowers, they be having him do the jet sweeps. They be having him do the end arounds. They be having him do the screens. Even though toward the end of the year, they slowed way down on the Zay Flowers screens. They slowed up a lot on those. But imagine having Deebo do some of those as well, because that's his specialty right there. Just get the ball in his hands and let him go to work. So again, you could line him up in the slot. You could throw the screens to him. You could do intermediate routes. You can do all that stuff. He's not necessarily a deep play guy, but he can give you that. But he's certainly something that the Baltimore Ravens had lacked in years past, but they certainly have it now. He's a yak monster. That is his specialty, the yards after the catch. Again, like we just mentioned, when the ball is in his hands, he goes to work. Little pause right there, but y'all get what I'm saying. So with Deebo Samuel, I feel like he would be such a great addition to the Baltimore Ravens. But he got injury concerns. Deebo Samuel has injury concerns. I know last season they said that he was struggling a bit with his weight. I'm not sure what was going on with that, but he has had some health issues throughout his career. And I wish there was a way that we could almost like turn injuries off for these players, because there's so many players that when we talk about them, it's, oh, this player is great, but they got a bad injury history. Oh, this player could be amazing, but they just can't stay healthy. And I feel like with Deebo Samuel, that would be my only issue with a Deebo, because the physicality is there. The playmaking ability is there. Like everything, not necessarily everything you want in a wide receiver, but everything you want in a player, for the most part, is there. Like, he ain't afraid to be physical. He ain't afraid to get gritty. He ain't afraid to get nasty. He ain't afraid to just go head up with whoever, try to run somebody over, try to shake them, try to do everything to score, get the yak, make the play. That's him. But the injuries, that's my only drawback when it comes to Deebo Samuel. And in my opinion, a high price, and obviously you could rework his contract, but if you reworked it, you would just be pushing some more money down the road. But a high price mixed with a significant injury history, that would scare me. That would scare me. Now, of course, I would obviously hope if the Baltimore Ravens were to acquire Deebo Samuel, like, oh, hopefully all his injuries go away. Him being with the Ravens medical staff, that'll clear him up. He'll be good to go. But, like, if a player tells you who they are, you got to listen. Now, one thing that I would not be mad at, I would much rather it happen like this if it happened at all. If Deebo Samuel was to be released, then, Ravens, then you could come to your own terms with a Deebo Samuel. Will the 49ers do that? It's possible. It really, if they willing to say, hey, you go find your own trade partner, then they could certainly be willing to release him as well if things don't happen as quickly as they would hope it does. But I would expect him to be traded. But to the Baltimore Ravens, I don't think that they would. And at Deebo Samuel's price tag, I don't think it would be the best investment of those funds. Again, the only pushback is because of the injury. The playmaking on the field, I'll be all for the addition of him in this offense. I will be all for it because I feel like, and I've said this before, years ago, before he had signed that big deal. Because I was hoping the Ravens would get him because y'all know how it was back. Oh, boy, we were a struggle team when it came to wide receivers, man. And just really playmaking. But anyway, we're a lot farther away from that now, and we are in a lot better position, and it's a beautiful thing to be able to say we're a much different offense. We just a much different team, and we happy about it. Now we got some other hurdles that we got to get over to be an even better team, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But for Deebo Samuel, does he fit with the Baltimore Ravens? For sure, he does all day, every day. But would it be worth it to acquire him at the price that he's at right now? I don't think so. Now we reach my favorite part of these videos where we get to feature your questions. If you'd like to take part in it, you can send an email to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com, or for the Patreons, you can send your question directly in a DM on Patreon. And if you would like to become one, you can go to patreon.com/Ingravenvids. Now, real quick, before we get into it, make sure you leave a like on the video because it helps out the channel a ton. And also a quick reminder, you don't have to send your questions twice. If you send your question once, you send it to the correct place, it's there. I'll see it. You don't have to send it again. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank you so much for being so patient. Thank you. Because I know some of y'all got questions from a couple weeks ago, and y'all like, you ain't answered my question yet, buddy. It's on the way. So thank you for bearing with us. I love you. First question came from my guy, Omar. He said, "Hey, Ingraven." Hey, Omar. He said, "I hope everything is going well with you. In the previous post, you mentioned that you wanted the Team Keep It Clean family to suggest some college players who could be great additions to the Ravens since you don't follow the college game as closely as you do the NFL. That's true. I certainly don't. He said, "That makes a lot of sense because your Ravens coverage is the best in the business." It's really not. And I know it takes a ton of your time. It really does. It really does, man. And I really appreciate y'all. I seriously do. I know a lot of people right now They are so checked out from football. They checked out from the Ravens, and I get it, right? And the Super Bowl done happen. Hey, what's there to talk about with football? What's there to talk about with our team? It's always something. It really, really is. But I appreciate y'all that are still rocking with us even in the off season, and we gonna make it, man. We gonna make it to August and then September, back for another season, roll around again. I appreciate y'all rocking with us, man. I'm serious right now. I'm so serious, man. I really, really do. Because I know, like, now is, after that Bills game, it was a tough time for everybody still coming through to watch anything with the Baltimore Ravens. They didn't want to watch nothing. They're like, oh, we lost. What's there to do? What's there to talk? Oh, on to next season. It's going to be the same thing over again. I get it. I get the frustration. I get it. But for those of y'all, even those of y'all that done took a break and whatnot, y'all like, I don't watch them, that channel. I don't watch no Ingravenvids. I get it. I respect it. But for those of y'all that are still here, even if you took a break and came back, cool. I appreciate you. Just know that, man. Anyway, he said one player to watch is TJ Sanders, a defensive tackle from South Carolina. He looks to have the explosiveness from the interior to pressure the quarterback, potentially leading to sacks and turnovers. Oh, boy, and that is something that we need more of, because we saw, and obviously without your best players, you're going to be a worse team. But we saw when Travis Jones was hurt, oh, that pass rush was not pretty. When he got back, it improved a lot. But when he was out, and with Travis Jones, I'm wondering, when his contract is up, are the Baltimore Ravens going to sign him to a second contract? Because Broderick Washington, he ended up being cheap. I don't think Travis Jones is going to be as cheap as Broderick Washington was. So, yeah, I think that's like sort of a sneaky need for the Baltimore Ravens to re-up on an interior defensive lineman. So, appreciate that suggestion. He said, with the interior players already on the roster, he would be in the rotation, wouldn't draw double teams, and would have a chance to make some splash plays. That would be a beautiful thing, because anything that we can get to help our pass rush. I still like that dominant guy on the edge. And it's crazy because do you go a Jared Verse type of route, to where you draft somebody who's ready and like that coming out of college? Or do you go a trade type of route, to where you got somebody who's been in the NFL for a little bit and you acquire them? So if it's me, I'm probably going to go the trade route, to have somebody ready right here, right now, that's been doing this in the league for a little minute. Just because with the Ravens and the pass rush, it's been a slow development process. They've been getting, like with Adolphe Way, is slow development. With David Ajabo, it's up in the air right now. So with Tavius Robinson, I mean, he that last year was only his second year, and he didn't really have much opportunity over the past 2 years. So you got to sort of put an asterisk on that one. But I would rather them get somebody right here, right now. But I mean, we'll see how it goes. He also said, as we all saw in the Super Bowl, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. If they're dropping their eyes to see the rush, they can't be effective. That's very, very, very true. All right, so my question to you is this: if the Ravens decide to trade up in the first round of the draft, what do you think? Or what do you think is the highest reasonable position they will be willing to trade up to, based on their history? As always, I appreciate your insight, my brother. Hey, appreciate you, Omar. That's a really good question. So, if they decided to trade up in round one, what do I think is the highest reasonable position they will be willing to trade up for? Based on their history, I'd probably say left tackle, because with Ronnie Stanley, we'll see what happens with that. And they could obviously kick Roger Rosengarten over there. So I would say either left tackle, yeah, or a pass rusher too. A straight up pass rusher, a dog at pat, like not just we just get a pass. No, a dog, somebody just nasty at pass rush who is like NFL ready right here, right now. Go get Micah. Next question came from my guy Steph'on. He said, "What's good, my guy? Pray all is well with you and the fam. Thanks for all the great Ravens info. Appreciate you, my friend." He said, "I saw your post on us acquiring Micah Parsons, and we should. I will propose." He ain't playing about getting Micah Parsons. He said, "I will propose sending Beaks, Keaton Mitchell, a first and a fourth rounder, and draft a DT. This draft has a lot of good ones." Oh my goodness, wow. So sending Matt Abike, who is 1 year into his brand new contract. So our interior pass rush, I mean, Matt Abike, you could move him around a little bit, but that would be like significant, because Matt Abike, hey, he drew a lot of double teams. So keeping him, I would much rather them keep him and get Micah. I know, again, to get somebody like Micah, you got to give up something of significance. You really do. So, but my boy said, send it all. And he said keep Mitchell and a first and a fourth rounder. Ooh, he ain't playing. He said this draft has lots of good ones. Also give Likely more looks this year. I think he could be Kelsey 2.0. No, he's Likely 1.0. Yeah, shout out to Isaiah Likely, but no, he ain't nobody else, man. Isaiah Likely, we know his game. We see his game. His game is much different from that of a Travis Kelce. Isaiah Likely is very, very explosive as a player. You can trust his hands. He's a playmaker. He'll make the contested catches. He'll make them splash plays. The drops, they're at a minimum. Isaiah Likely don't really drop the ball like that. He'll have one every now and then, but he don't really drop the ball like that. So he really one of them guys. And we said it 2 years ago, once Isaiah Likely went on his run when Mark Andrews was injured. I said, hey, the only thing holding Isaiah Likely back from being a top 5, really top 3 tight end is opportunity. That's it. Nothing else, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens this year, man. That's gonna be a situation right there. He said he's a wide receiver in the tight end's body. Also, get a nice lineman in the draft. And lastly, bring back Chris Board. He's a dog. Ooh, okay. I ain't heard that one be said yet. He said blessings and hashtag Blackbird Bully Ball. Next question came from my guy Daryl. He said, would you trade Mark Andrews for Maxx Crosby? Ooh, that is a question right there. I think that I would. Next question came from Game Too Easy. He said, I'm not going to lie to you. The O-line is the least of my worries. My solution to fix them is probably draft someone that's around Rodney height, 6'5" or over. The only problem with the offense I have is with Todd's schemes. The amount of times Lamar had to extend plays because routes Todd draw up don't create separation. Now, I will say that is something. We love Todd Monken, love his offense, love his game, but that is something that the Baltimore Ravens could do a much better job of, is developing quick passing plays and also having the offense to where it don't got to be Lamar make a crazy play or bust. Because so many times, so many of the Ravens' big plays this year came from Lamar snapped the ball, he looking, nobody open, and he got to scramble around, or Lamar snapped the ball, offensive line, they ain't holding up the blocks, and then Lamar got to scramble around and then find somebody. Now, of course, we love it when the great plays happen from that, and so many great plays have happened from that. But if we could imagine Lamar with like a really good offensive line, like a really good, and I like, you know what? No, I can't even say that. I can't, because look at the Eagles. I can't say like, and we know we can't have like the best of the best everywhere, but you can't look at the Eagles. So miss me with all that. Oh, we can't get everything. Yeah, you can get everything that you want. You can get everything that you want. But anyway, he said the defense already covered every spot. But I would ask, what concepts would you like to see the Ravens try out next season? Yeah, like we said, with more of a quick passing game, a short passing game, because Ravens, they didn't really have that too often. That is one thing that I think this offense could use a lot more of. Also, involving Derrick Henry in the passing game a lot more, because that opens up the offense a lot. Obviously, Justice Hill is amazing. He's a beast. He's a baller. We love Justice Hill. But whenever you would take Derrick Henry off the field and put Justice Hill on, then that was kind of giving it away. It wasn't all the time, but probably 70% of the time, it was giving away, all right, Ravens are passing now. So if you could have Derrick Henry stay on the field for passing downs too, that would make the offense that much more explosive and unpredictable. And he said, I was thinking Kyle Hamilton played some snaps on offense. He got the height. No. Leave Kyle Hamilton on his side of the ball. Next question came from my guy, Rodney. He said, what's good, bro? Blessings to you and the fan. What do you think is the direction we need to go in for this upcoming draft? I think the offense is great since Monken is back, but we should make Likely more of a focal point. See, a lot of team keep it clean on the same page with that. He said he's an ice cold killer. Hey, he is. And with Isaiah Likely, he's good in every situation. As a blocker, he could definitely use some work, some improvement. But as far as what I'm talking about, in every situation, if it's first quarter, Isaiah Likely, he can go off. If it's second quarter, he can go off. If you are down, Isaiah Likely could do his thing. If you're up, Isaiah Likely could do his thing. If it's them clutch moments and you need it, you can count on Isaiah Likely. He's shown that time and time again. Isaiah Likely is a baller. Now, again, that ain't no shot at Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is a baller too. But anyway, He said, but I do feel the defense could add on, so we can continue with the momentum we finished with. You obviously got to add on both sides of the ball. With the offensive line being up in the air again, you don't know what's going to happen with Ronnie Stanley, Pat McCary. Yeah, you got some question marks there with the defense. Pass rush. That is a big question mark. How's it going to be? You could always use some more corners, linebackers. You got a lot of pending free agents, so we'll see what happens there. He said also, since Brandon Stevens and Marcus Williams are out, not officially yet, but, I mean, you pretty much know what's on the way. He said, we should go DB in the first round. Oof. So, Nate Wiggins last year, who did pretty good overall. And then another DB this year in the first round. Hey, let's see. He said, with that being said, Nick Emanwari from South Carolina. He is 6'3", 220-pound safety. He reminds me of Cam Chancellor. A big hitter like that then. He said, and Kyle Hamilton mixed. A big hitter and a great playmaker too. Because Kyle Hamilton, again, he could do it all. He could do everything. He said, I pray he's there for us. EDC, sir, make this move. Been around the game a long time. Played it, coached it, and watched it. Trust me, he is the one.